Arsenal have just signed Jorginho, a deal worth of £10 million with £2 million add-ons, and that ends the transfer window for Arsenal. Yes, guys, that's right. The January transfer window has just closed. It's been one day. I wanted to make the video yesterday, but I was just thinking, let me just give it a day to digest, and then I'll give my thoughts on it. Maybe I might make another video on it, just a bit more in depth, but I just wanted to make a quick video on it. Just give my initial thoughts, and maybe a few days after it digests a bit more, I can give a proper review on it. But look, the window has closed, and let's just be honest, it has been a bit underwhelming. But before we get into that, first let's mention we signed Jorginho, which is a deal that came out of the blue, honestly. Obviously, we know who the number one target was. It was Caicedo. We made two bids for him, one worth of £60 million, and I think the second one was worth around £65 million. I think that was, or it was 65 and £70 million. But all we know, it doesn't matter, because all we know is that the bids got rejected by Brian. They got rejected instantly, and it was clear. Brian stood by the word that he wasn't for sale. He wasn't going to go anywhere. Despite him pushing for the transfer, Brian stood firm, and he didn't go. So this signing had a lot of mixed reaction in terms of Jorginho coming. Personally, I would say I'm on the side that was a bit disappointed with this signing. The player comes with many pros and cons. When you look at the pros, he has Premier League experience. He has played in the Premier League. He has won major trophies, the Champions League, the Euros, and not just won it, he has played a crucial part in winning as well. So that is one benefit. He does have that mentality, and he is rated highly by his peers, the likes of Cucurella. I'm trying to think of Dewsbury Hall. Have also mentioned how, no, sorry, not Dewsbury Hall. Was it Dewsbury Hall? It must be the one from Chelsea. I forgot his name. It could be Dewsbury Hall. Actually, no, I just completely forgot. But he's rated highly by Chelsea, as well as some of the professional players in Chelsea. But when you look at the drawback, he is 31 years old, and he comes from Chelsea. Now, you look at our previous history of that, it's just been a recipe of disaster. The likes of Willian, Petr Cech. So, obviously, if you look at history, it's never gone down well. So there is that feature, there is that possibility as well. And obviously, the likes of, the other thing that really did put me off this deal is the fact that he lacks what Thomas Partey lacks, which is that aggression off the ball, something that not many players have, especially in Partey's position. A lot of these CDMs are quite slow, but when you look at Thomas Partey, he's fast, he's so aggressive off the ball, and that is something that Jorginho just unfortunately lacks. And it's not like it's going to be his downfall forever, but it's just one thing that it just shows how important Thomas Partey is to this side. But look, he's joined Arsenal now, and I hope the best for him. I wasn't a big fan of Ramsdale when he came through, or Ben White, and look how it turned out. So hopefully the same thing happens with Jorginho, and I'm excited to see him put on the Arsenal show. But last thing, can we actually talk about the failings of this transfer window? Like, the window, we all knew who our number one targets were. It was Mudryk and Caicedo, and unfortunately we didn't sign any of them. We got robbed by Chelsea, and Brian just going to sell Caicedo. But this has been another window where we've let our number one targets fall out again. We couldn't get our number one targets. The Mudryk one, we just didn't meet his value to Shakhtar, and he looks like a quality player now. The Caicedo one, I'm a bit more understanding of that, because it just seemed no matter what the price was, Brian were not going to let him go. But honestly, it seems to be a very repetitive thing. I mean, you look at last season, especially in January, we couldn't get Vlahovic. The other players like Bruno Gomares, we couldn't get Locatelli. So it's an ongoing list and I feel like something has to change also, where we need to be able to start securing our number one targets. And yes, you have to pay over those sometimes, but that is what you get with quality players. That's how the market is now. Yes, you can remain firm and not pay and walk out just to show you are how strong you are to your principles, but sometimes you just have to pay that extra £10 million, because who cares if you Ben White, he's worth £50 million. No one cares about his price now, because he's performing well. And obviously, when a player performs well, and everyone forgets the price. So sometimes I feel like also just need to pay the price and get that quality player over the line, because it's going to cost us, because all these top clubs, the likes of Chelsea, are coming in and taking all our number one targets, and we're having to scramble around for our plan B or plan C. And it's just something that Arsenal and Arteta really do need to fix. But look, I will probably make a video on it later, just going in more depth for it. But overall, I would give this window probably a 6 out of 10. I would say, look, we improved the squad depth, which was the most important thing. Thomas Partey cover, we got some cover as well for Saka. Sorry, not Saka, Martinelli, and we also got a centre back as well. So overall, in terms of depth, we definitely have improved. We haven't weakened. That's the main important thing. We have strengthened compared to last January, where we've actually weakened by getting rid of Aubameyang. Contrast to this one, we actually did improve. Whilst Man City, I would argue, actually have weakened by letting go of Cancelo. So that's the positive. But look, I guess we'll just have to wait and see how these signings do. But yeah, guys, that's the end of today's video. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button, subscribe.